Welcome back to this dedicated space for your daily practice with A Course in Miracles in Practice.
This space of peace and learning.
Take a deep breath. Let go of the day's distractions. And join us as we step into a space dedicated to exploring the transformative power of A Course in Miracles. Today, we're going to take a good look at the Course Lesson 127. I'll read it through first, just as it is. There is no love but God's. Perhaps you think that different kinds of love are possible. Perhaps you think there's a kind of love for this, a kind for that, a way of loving one, another way of loving still another. Love is one. It has no separate parts and no degrees, no kinds nor levels, no divergencies and no distinctions. It is like itself, unchanged throughout. It never alters with a person or a circumstance. It is the heart of God and therefore of His Son. Love's meaning is obscure to anyone who thinks that love can change. He does not see that changing love must be impossible, and thus he thinks that he can love at times and hate at other times. He also thinks that love can be bestowed on one and yet remain itself, although it is withheld from others. To believe these things of love is not to understand it. If it could make such distinctions, it would have to judge between the righteous and the sinner, and perceive the Son of God in separate parts. Love cannot judge. As it is one itself, it looks on all as one. Its meaning lies in oneness. And it must elude the mind that thinks of it as partial or in part. There is no love but God's, and all of love is His. There is no other principle which rules where love is not. Love is a law without an opposite. Its wholeness is the power holding everything as one, the link between the Father and the Son, which holds them both forever as the same. No course whose purpose is to teach you what you really are could fail to emphasize there is no different in what you are and what love is. Love's meaning is your own and shared by God Himself. For what you are is what He is. There is no love but His, and what He is everything there is. There is no limit placed upon Himself, and so are you unlimited as well. No laws the world obeys can help you grasp love's meaning. What the world believes was made to hide love's meaning and to keep it dark and secret. There is not one principle the world upholds but violates the truth of what love is, and what you are as well. Seek not within the world to find yourself. Love is not found in darkness and in death, yet is it perfectly apparent to the eyes that see and ears that hear its voice. Today we practice making free our minds of all the laws we think we must obey, of all the limits under which we live, and all the changes which you think are part of human destiny. Today we take the largest single step this course requests in our advance towards its established goal. If you achieve the faintest glimmering of what love means today, you have advanced in distance without measure, and in time beyond the count of years to your release. Let us together, then, be glad to give some time to God today and understand there is no better use for time than this. For 15 minutes twice today, escape from every law in which you now believe. Open your mind and rest. The world that seems to hold you prisoner can be escaped by anyone who does not hold it dear. Withdraw all value you've placed upon its meager offerings and senseless gifts, and let the gift of God replace them all. Call to your Father, certain that His voice will answer. He Himself has promised this. And He Himself will place a spark of truth within your mind wherever you give up a false belief, a dark illusion of your own reality and what love means. He will shine through your idle thoughts today and help you understand the truth of love. In loving gentleness, He will abide with you, as you allow His voice to teach love's meaning to your clean and open mind. And He will bless the lesson with His love. Today the legion of the future years of waiting for salvation disappears before the timelessness of what you learn. Let us give thanks today that we are spared a future like the past. Today we leave the past behind us, never more to be remembered. And we raise our eyes upon a different present, where a future dawns unlike the past in every attribute. The world in infancy is newly born, and we will watch it grow in health and strength to shed its blessing upon all who come to learn to cast aside the world they thought was made in hate to be love's enemy. Now are they all made free along with us. Now are they all our brothers in God's love. We will remember them throughout the day because we cannot leave a part of us outside our love if we would know ourselves. At least 3 times an hour, think of one who makes the journey with you and who came to learn what you must learn. And as he comes to mind, give him this message from yourself. I bless you, brother, with the love of God, which I would share with you. For I would learn the joyous lesson that there is no love but God's and yours and mine and everyone's.
Okay, wow, that's quite a statement to start with. There is no love but God's. It sets up this big contrast right away between, maybe what we think love is or experience day to day.
And this other concept, This love with a capital L, maybe? God's love?
Yeah, exactly. The lesson describes it as completely unified, unchanging.
Right. It says, no separate parts and no degrees, no kinds nor levels.
No divergencies and no distinctions. It's just
Right.
one thing, wholly itself.
Which is so different from how we usually talk about love. We have romantic love, platonic love, family love.
We categorize it constantly. Love for this person, but not that one. Or, loving someone more than someone else.
And the lesson says, well, that's not really it. That's misunderstanding love.
It's rooted in the ego, this idea that love can change, that you can love some times and hate other times.
Or that you can give love to one person but withhold it from another, and it somehow remains the same thing.
Yeah, the lesson says that's impossible if you really understand love. Because love, in this view, can't judge. It sees everyone as one.
Its meaning is in oneness.
Right. So this idea of egoic love, as the Course sometimes calls it, it's characterized by all the things God's love isn't.
So division, judgment.
Conditions, changeability, selectivity.
It focuses on differences, on separation, maybe even on lack.
I think so. And the lesson makes that really strong point. What the world believes was made to hide love's meaning.
Whoa! That's a big claim.
It is. It suggests that our whole societal structure, maybe principles like scarcity, competition,
Special relationship.
they all kind of work against this idea of unified, unconditional love. They reinforce the idea of separation.
So, okay, if we think about that, this egoic love, the kind based on conditions or maybe shared issues, can we see that playing out like in popular culture?
Oh, definitely. Think about, say, the relationships in a show like Euphoria.
Okay, yeah. Intense. Very intense.
Right. And often what looks like love, or maybe feels like love to the characters, seems really tangled up with shared trauma or codependency.
Like needing the other person to escape their own pain.
Exactly. Or finding validation in that intensity. It becomes less about genuine care for the other person as a whole being, and more about what they do for you, how they make you feel or distract you.
So the lines get blurred. Love becomes maybe enabling.
Could be. It's a kind of love rooted in lack, in trying to fill a hole, which is very different from the fullness of God's love the lesson describes.
Okay. What about something like cruel intentions? That's a bit of a throwback, but
Oh, yeah. That's almost a textbook example of egoic manipulation disguised as intimacy, maybe.
definitely not God's love.
Not even close. It's all about power, control, validation through using other people.
Right. Exploiting vulnerabilities. There's no real empathy there, is there?
None. It's the complete opposite of seeing oneness. It's about seeing others as objects, as pawns in your own game. It highlights that judgmental aspect. The lesson talks about perceiving people in separate parts, valuing them based on usefulness.
Really highlights how the ego twists things. Then there's Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. That one's interesting.
Ah, yes. Clementine and Joel.
Their whole attempt to erase the memories, but they still find their way back. What does that say about this?
Well, you could see the memory erasing itself as a very egoic response, couldn't you?
How so?
It's an attempt to control reality, to avoid pain, to hold on to an idea of how things should have been, rather than accepting what is.
Okay, right. Resisting change, holding on to illusions.
Yeah. And their inability to truly let go, even with the erasure, maybe points to the ego's difficulty in accepting endings or change. It wants to cling to its attachments, its stories.
Even painful ones.
Sometimes, especially the painful ones, their love or their connection seems bound up in fantasy in the past rather than, just being present.
That makes sense. Let's shift genres a bit. Crazy Rich Asians. The conflict with Eleanor, Nick's mother.
Her initial rejection of Rachel.
Seems pretty ego-driven, doesn't it? All about status, lineage.
Oh, absolutely. It's all about external validation. Protecting the family's image, maintaining social standing. Rachel doesn't fit the predetermined mold.
So love is conditional on meeting those external criteria.
Right. It's not about Rachel's inherent worth or the connection she has with Nick. It's about whether she fits into Eleanor's ego-based framework of acceptability. It's love based on judgment and external factors.
Which, again, the lesson says is missing the point entirely.
Entirely. Love, as the lesson describes it, wouldn't even see those distinctions as relevant.
Okay, one more, maybe an extreme example. The show You.
Oh, Joe Goldberg.
Yeah.
Extreme is the right word.
He frames everything he does as love, but it's terrifying.
It's like the ego's distortion of love taken to its absolute pathological limit. Its obsession, possessiveness, control.
Total lack of boundaries.
Zero respect for the other person's autonomy. He sees the object of his obsession not as a person, but as something to be acquired, possessed, and controlled for his own gratification.
And he justifies stalking, violence, all in the name of love.
Exactly. It's the ego self-deception writ large. It demonstrates that extreme possessiveness, the blurring of self and other in the most unhealthy way, and the complete rationalization of harmful acts because the ego believes it's acting out of love. It's the polar opposite of the lesson's message.
It really shows how far off track things can go when the ego's definition of love takes over. It's all about its needs, its fears, its control.
Precisely. So looking back at the lesson after considering these worldly examples.
It really lands differently, doesn't it?
It does. Lesson 127 is essentially asking us to, question everything we thought we knew about love.
To recognize how much of what we call love might actually be tangled up with the ego's stuff, fear, lack, conditions, judgment.
And to open up to the possibility of something else, something bigger.
This love that is unified, unchanging, unconditional.
And according to the Course, is actually our true nature, our inheritance.
So the practice today, giving that time, escaping the world's laws, it's about letting go of those egoic concepts.
I think so. It's about creating space to maybe get a faint glimmering, as the lesson says, of what this other love feels like, moving beyond the limits we place on it.
Recognizing it not as something external to get, but as something that we are, shared with everyone.
Yeah. It's a shift from seeing love as scarce and divided to understanding it as abundant and unified.
Well, that brings us to the end of another exploration.
It certainly does. Seriously, though, thank you for tuning in.
Echo that. We really appreciate you spending this time with us.
We really do. And don't hesitate to connect. ACIM at theworldharmonyproject.org.